I promised you guys we'd be looking at more guitars from my collection, and I never break a promise. Today we're taking a look at the next 3 guitars. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Addicted to Gear. As I said, we're going to be taking a look at 3 more guitars from my collection. If you haven't already tuned in to the first 2 episodes where we went over a set of 3 guitars, the first video was my favorite 3 guitars of my collection, or should I say the current 3 favorite guitars, because they keep on changing. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link up above. Then the second video was the next 3 in the collection in no specific order. So today we're taking a look at 3 more guitars from my collection, and I'll give you a little bit of insight as to why I purchased them, why I like them, and why I still have them. So let's get started. So the first guitar we're going to look at is this great Squier Contemporary Strat. I made a video review on this guitar approximately 2 years. I think it's around 2 years now. And, you know, I don't really know what to say about this guitar except it's great value for the money, especially if you don't want to spend the money on something a little bit more expensive like a Charvel or some other guitar models that are kind of in the boutique range that are very, very expensive compared to this. I mean, you can get similar features, the 2 humbuckers, you know, the simplified knobs where you're only going to get the volume and 1 tone instead of 2, the 5-way switch. I mean, it's a pretty basic, simple guitar, but it really works really well. And for the money you pay for these guitars, with a few minor tweaks, they really are fantastic values. So what I liked about this guitar right off the bat was the finish on the neck, because it didn't have a poly finish, and really all I did was sanded it down with some very fine grit sandpaper to give it more of a polish, and applied some wax and some carnauba wax. And really, I don't know if you can see it at this distance from the camera, but it actually has sparkle, you know, whereas the front of the fretboard is pretty matte. You know, I didn't do anything specific to that. So I've been playing this guitar for about 2 years now, and I really feel that it is a great value for the money because it has a nice 2-point pivot bridge. Now the pickups that come with this guitar I mean, they're really good. There's nothing terrible about the pickups, but as you guys always, you know that I always, most often, change the pickups out for something else because I like to experiment with different types of pickups, but you don't really have to do that in this guitar. And I liked this model so much that I actually bought 2 of them. I bought this one and I bought a red one that you've probably already seen in some of my previous videos or the video review that I did on this guitar. And I'll post that up above in case you're curious. The rest of the guitar is pretty straightforward. It's a basic Strat, but I mean, the paint is a beautiful color. The neck feels really nice. As I mentioned, the pickups, you can definitely get more punch out of the humbuckers as opposed to the single coil. And what's really interesting about this guitar, it's a little secret. If ever you want to go back to a standard pick guard where you're actually going back to the 3 standard single coil pickups, it's really easy to do because the routing is already giving you plenty of room underneath the pickguard to go back to a standard, you know, Strat, typical Strat single coil layout. So you have the luxury of either staying with the humbuckers or simply swapping out the pickguard, putting in a pickguard with 3 single coils, and you're in business. So I can pretty much convert this guitar into a standard Strat. Now, some of you like the painted headstock that matches the body, some of you don't. I mean, I don't really mind it. I think it's cool. It sets it apart from the other Strats. And, you know, if ever you get sick of that, you can easily just sand that off if you want, you know, and go with a full maple neck, you know, top to bottom. But I like it. I think the features on this guitar are fantastic. Plays really nice. great value. What else can I say? Let's go to number 2. Now you guys already know that I'm a PRS fan. I think the PRS guitars offer great quality. But what's even more impressive to me is the quality of the SE models that are made overseas. Because you can get a really well-built guitar for not that much money compared to the US counterparts. And this guitar is one of my favorite PRS models that is made overseas. As you can see, it's got an F-hole in it, so it's semi-hollow. It looks a lot like my American-made PRS, which is a single cut that I love. But this one, the body shape is the same. The flame on it is pretty convincing, even though it's just a veneer, but the top is actually solid maple. So it's actually a thick layer of solid maple. It's got the wraparound bridge, and it has a chunkier neck than the US one, and it has the tulip style tuners that I really like. That's something I really like. And overall, I mean, the quality of this guitar was astounding for the money I bought it, specifically because I bought it used. And you know, I don't know how much these guitars are going for now. I'm sure they're more expensive than what I paid it, and I know that they're very popular because they just continued the line. They actually re-released new models of this guitar. This is the Zach Myers version of the PRS. I did change the knobs. I wasn't a big fan of the clear knobs, and I put these knobs temporarily, but they've been on it ever since. Eventually I'll probably change them to something a little bit more better looking than just the plain Jane black knobs. But they do the job. I did change the pickups. These are a set of Sanford magnetic pickups. They're low output pickups, which I really do think are a great match for the semi-hollow body aspect of this guitar, because you do get more of the guitar sound out of the pickups because it's not really driving the guitar very hard, so it allows the true tone of the guitar to come through way nicer than the original pickups did. And other than that, I didn't change a thing on this guitar. It's pretty much stock, and I love it. It's really one of my go-to guitars. So number 3 in this video series is a Harley-Benton gold top with P90s in it. And I like the Les Paul style guitar. I like the way Harley-Benton is sort of, I wouldn't say improving, but changing little aspects of the guitar to make it their own, including the way the back of the headstock is, not the headstock, but the heel here is actually carved and contoured. So it really is a lot more comfortable in your hand than the standard Gibson style ones. Now this is pretty much a budget guitar. I did a full review on this guitar and I'll put the link up above. Now the reason I went after this guitar is because I did not have a P90 style guitar with a Les Paul body, especially not in a gold top. And I always liked the gold tops. I always felt like I wanted to buy one, but I don't want to spend the kind of money that Gibson is asking for. And I'm not saying that this guitar is, let's say, as good as Gibson, but it is a good, well-built guitar. And of course, once again, I've changed the pickups in this guitar, but after doing an A/B comparison with the stock pickups, I found that the stock pickups really weren't bad. These pickups are slightly better in my opinion, but I mean, the stock pickups really had a nice grit and spank to them that is something that you normally find in P90s. P90 pickups are a little bit of a crossover between a humbucker and a single coil, and it has more of that single coil bite, almost like a Telecaster would. And that's really what I like. I like that, you know, bite in my guitars, and the P90s really give me that in a Les Paul style body. The guitar is a little bit heavier than I would like it to be, but other than that, I mean, it plays well, has a very nice neck on it. No issues with any kind of buzzing or anything like that. And I really do enjoy the P90s really a whole lot. I've been really digging that. I think the guitar, the fit and finish on this guitar is good. Although there are some people that are telling me that sometimes the Harley-Benton stuff that comes from overseas could be a little hit and miss. Sometimes you get issues or little blemishes or little defects. So I guess it's a question of getting lucky. In this guitar, I did not have any big issues. I outlined everything in the review that I did on the guitar, and even the hardware on this guitar is quite good compared to some other hardware that I've seen on guitars coming from overseas. So I'm quite happy with that. You know, I think that I got what I paid for. I don't think I got anything less, and I think it actually is a guitar that you can actually keep for a long time and enjoy and scratch that P90 gold top itch without having to drop, you know, $3,500 for the bigger name brands. So a really nice guitar in the collection. So guys, I hope you enjoyed these 3 guitars that I presented here today. I hope you guys like this kind of content and enjoy me showing the guitars from my collection, just strolling down memory lane and giving you a little bit more insight as to why I like them. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up and I'll continue to post guitars from my collection. I don't know how many there are at this point. I kind of lost track in terms of what's left because there's always guitars coming and going here. So I'll just continue till I run out of guitars. How's that? So if you guys have any comments about these guitars, please leave them in the comments section below. I answer all of my questions. If you want to support my channel, you can do so by grabbing some swag, including, you know, a cool Addicted to Gear t-shirt listed below all of my videos. That definitely helps me out. And if you don't want to do that, you can just simply subscribe, hit the little bell icon, and you'll be notified whenever I post other videos. That's it for now, guys. Stay tuned, keep rocking. More great stuff coming on Addicted to Gear.